Neil Steinberg of the Chicago Sun-Times was hoping to coast through the process of buying an Ar-15 at a local gun store. But during the mandatory 24-hour waiting period, the store refused to sell to him because he failed his background check. And this part is a little embarrassing for him. The store said that it was uncovered that Mr. Steinberg had an admitted history of alcohol abuse and a charge for domestic battery involving his wife. Therefore, he wasn't able to buy a gun. Well, Steinberg claims that he was denied because he was a member of the media.
So you just saw that video. Mr. Steinberg, a journalist for the Chicago Sun-Times, was trying to go into a gun store and purchase an AR-15 to display how easy it is to get an air quotes assault weapon. But then he ran into real life and he hit an epic fail. This is very cut and dry story. I mean, look, these reporters, these liberals create problems when there are no problems. A lot of these so-called loopholes that they claim exist don't really exist. There's all kind of gun laws that are on the books right now, especially in a place like Chicago. There's all kind of laws that prevent things from happening that you don't want to happen if you're a liberal. All you got to do is enforce it. If you don't want rampant crime in your community, just enforce the laws that are on the books. Don't allow these career criminals to come out of jail and just wreak havoc on the community with guns that they get from the street. Keep them locked up. Don't let your Freddie Grays of the world get arrested 100 times before they die at age 25. Unfortunate death, but look at his life before that. He had been a career criminal. You can't let those individuals out in the street to continue to roam around and create havoc. It's very simple. And this reporter guy just tried to use the so-called white privilege and go in there, thought it would be a breeze. But then he just got slapped with the real world. Ain't no white privilege. If you go in there and you a wife beater, you're a drunk, you try to get a gun in a place where you at that does not allow that, guess what? You would not be able to get a gun. And it's funny here in this case, he actually tried to bury that story, right? Because he went out, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna just go out here and get a gun. I'm gonna get it real quick and easy, make a big point. But then when reality struck, now what did you do? You try to bury the story. But luckily, an editor told him, no, you're not going to bury the story. And you got to put the part in there about how you were a drunk and a wife beater before. Now, the whole thing about him being a wife beater, I'm saying that in jest a little bit because it's not necessarily been convicted. He didn't get proven. But come on, if you got a history of alcoholism and you got a charge of domestic violence, come on, you're a wife beater and you drunk. That's why you couldn't get a gun. You tried to go in there and prove yourself and prove to the world otherwise, but you were unsuccessful. Epic fail. And I love it. So I don't have much more to say. I'm going to cut it short. So what say you? Do you think this is a prime example of how liberals behave, right? You got this person out here trying to prove a point about gun control and then fails epically, right? There are laws on the books that prevent you from being able to do certain things. And a lot of these laws are very restrictive, just like in Chicago, where the laws are so strict, it's hard for a common citizen to be able to get a gun. See, a lot of times liberals live in a world that they don't have to exist in for real, right? They create laws for a world that they themselves do not have to live in. They create laws for us, just the regular peons in the valley, as they look down on us from the ivory tower in the sky, right? But then once they got to come back down to the real world and then try to pass a background check with a spotty past, and then they see what time it is. And hopefully it made him understand the way the real world actually works a little bit more. Hopefully he did not just try to bury it and try to act like it didn't happen and try to live in denial. You know, I think the greatest thing that anybody can go through is something like this to open their eyes up to the way the world is. I've heard a saying before. It's like a lot of people are liberal until they get mugged by reality and then they become a conservative, right? Until something bad happens, until something actually lets you know what the world really is and not just the fairy tale that you create for yourself in your own mind. You won't necessarily be able to relate. But then once you go through something like that, something very serious, and you understand the way the world actually is because it happens to you, it's one thing to hear somebody else talking about it like me. You hear my voice and it's like, hey, this guy's just talking. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But then once what I say actually happens to you, now you become my friend. Now you understand the way that I talk exists because of real life, not because of anything else, not because of my personal feelings or anything like that. Nah, this is just the way that the world is based upon my experiences, based upon colleagues' experiences, based upon just non-biased observation of reality. I got a little deep on that, but like I say, this video, I enjoyed it. What say you? Whatever your comments are, positive or negative, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.